from LA.
Yeah, I just
Big
found it.
shot. Oh, yeah.
Big shot.
Big shot from LA. Please welcome to the stage, Ethan Stanislawski.
Thank you, guys. It's good to be back. It's my hometown. I'm back for the holidays. Good to be back in New York. It's good times. I've been traveling a lot the last year, so it's good to come back home. Actually, I just flew back from my grandmother's funeral, and boy, is she dead. She is very dead. Very dead. Well, she was 99 and kind of a monster, so it's not the worst. Like that, no one knows how to respond when I say that. I kind of like it. I like to make people comfortable right off the top. To give you an example of what my grandmother was like, when I was 11, we got a dog. It was my first pet ever, my childhood dog, Lily. And I was so excited. I called my grandmother. I was like, Bubby, we got a dog. Isn't that amazing? First words out of her mouth, I swear to God, were, oh, well, it'll be so sad for you when it dies. Literally the first thing she said. And that's a shitty thing to say to an 11-year-old, but in her defense, she was right. I was very sad when my childhood dog died. Way sadder than I was when she died. Not even close. Not even close at all. I call my grandmother Bubby. I am a Jewish person. I don't know if you can tell by my everything, but it's okay. I look like this. I've lived in LA 2.5 years, and I haven't been cast in a Judd Apatow movie yet. What the fuck am I doing wrong? I don't know. I have to figure out that industry. But I was talking to my dad recently. Apparently, this is true right now in Germany, they're converting the sites of former concentration camps into low-rent housing. That's a real thing that's happening. Concentration camps are getting turned into low-rent housing. And when I heard about that, my first thought was, well, it better be low-rent, right? It has to be. Because think about it. You know when a murder is committed in an apartment, the value of that apartment plummets? That's literally the most murders you could have in one apartment complex. Just nothing but murder all around. It's got to be really cheap. It's got to be so cheap Jews are moving back in. That's how cheap that's got to be. You guys are really upset. I can like it. It's good times. I don't know, there's a lot of weird things about being Jewish. One thing is, especially for Jews my age, is that for some reason you're programmed at birth to have to like hip-hop. I never understood that. Like, Jews my age have to like hip-hop. It's weird because I like some hip-hop, but my two favorite rappers are the Beastie Boys and Eminem. And that's not allowed. You can't announce that. That's the only way you can sound like a fan of hip-hop and a member of the KKK in the same sentence. If you announce that those are your two favorite rappers. Honestly, I never understood that. Why white people have to be ashamed to like white rappers? Why should anyone be ashamed to like musicians who they identify with and share common experiences with? Like, I have no shame about liking white rappers who I identify with. I have a lot more shame about liking black rappers who I have to pretend to identify with, as if I know anything about the black experience in America at all. I don't. Like, give you an example. Which song am I going to relate to more? 99 Problems by Jay-Z, a song about being pulled over by the cops because of the color of your skin, or a Beastie Boys song about a really good shawarma they had? Which song am I going to relate to more? Just on looks alone. You can figure that out. You know the answer. Like, I've never been in a drive-by shooting. I will almost certainly never be in a drive-by shooting. I have been to a thrift shop, and I made some good purchases there. Got this shirt there. It's missing a button, but it's $2, so whatever. I really did buy it. I dressed up for you guys for that joke. Let's see. I've been dating in Los Angeles. It's been interesting. It's not been good, but it has been interesting. I was dating a girl recently. I really liked her. Thought it was going well. And then I found out she had me on rotation. Like, there were 3 or 4 other guys she was seeing at the same time she was seeing me. And that's her right to do that, but as your guy, you're not used to hearing that. And I quickly realized, holy shit, not only am I on rotation, I'm not even the ace of this pitching staff. Like, not at all. Not even. She only calls me up when she overuses the main guy, and he like blows out his elbow, needs Tommy John surgery. She comes to me like, hey, Ethan, he's not that great, but he'll get you 6 solid innings. Sure, why not? I don't even want to know what's in her bullpen. I'm just assuming it's a lot of baristas and drummers. That's what's in there. Baseball jokes in the November. That's cool. It's not all been bad news, though. I was on a date recently with a girl. We've been out a couple times before. And it got to the point in the process, whatever that process is, where I asked her, would you like to come back to my place? And what she said there, I was not expecting to hear. She said, before I do, can I just ask you, what's your number? And I'm like, my number? You've been texting me. You have my number. Like an idiot, that was my first thought. She's like, no. What's your number? Oh, my sex number. The number of people I've had sex with. That's what you're asking me. Well, that's not a loaded fucking gun of a question if I've ever heard one. Like, first off, don't ever ask that to anyone ever, no matter what, it sucks. But second off, why, in this situation, I have no idea what she wants to hear, no idea what she expects to hear, so I just say, fuck it, I'm gonna err on the side of honesty, which at the time was 16. That was my number at the time. You can judge that number however you want. Some people think the number is very high. I live in LA, which is a city of godless, heathen, sodomite, bastard, communist, rested. I don't know what that means. The point is, some people in LA think that number is very low. And I'll never forget, she looked at me and she said, Ethan, 16? You're a lot cooler than I thought you were. And that night I went to 17, you guys, so yeah. That's a victory in my book. Don't worry, it didn't work out. I'm doing this joke, but to this day I still don't know why she asked. Maybe it's like if it was less than 8, it'd be clingy, because in LA monogamy and clingy are synonyms apparently. Or maybe it's more like, you know how when you're at a restaurant there's a tip jar, there already has to be a little bit of money in there before you start to throw more in. Maybe it's kind of like that. Maybe she was like, how much is in there? 16? Fuck it, I'll throw another buck in. Why not? I think it was more like that. It's cool though. I can't complain because we let men get away with so fucking much in society. The more I see, it's just the older I get, it's just ridiculous. Like, just give you an example. I was talking with a friend of mine recently about a mutual friend we had named Chris, and my friend's like, "Oh man, Ethan, Chris is such a good person." We were at this party. This girl came up to him, started throwing herself at him, trying to make out with him, and Chris turned her down because she was drunk. He's such a good person. And I'm like, that doesn't make Chris a good person. That just makes him not a rapist. Is that where we've set the bar for good person now? It's just not rapist? Is that where we've drawn the line? Yeah. Like, by the same logic, my friend could have been like, oh man, Chris is such a good person. We were on the street, this guy hit him a gun and said, murder me, and he didn't murder him. What a sweetheart. What a swell guy. I don't know. I think the problem is, all my life I've had mostly female friends, predominantly. All my life I've had mostly female friends who all seem to be under the adorable impression that I don't want to fuck them. I don't know where that came from. I've accepted it. But as a result, there are certain male tropes, like certain conventional male sexual things that have never made sense to me. Like, for instance, I never got why guys are into 18-year-olds. Like, that never made sense to me. Like, have you met an 18-year-old recently? They're not technically people, I don't think. They're just like drunk little pixies running around. That's kind of what they are. Like, how badly do you have to objectify women to think that an 18-year-old is sexy? I think if you're a guy who's into 18-year-olds, you're really a guy who's into 15-year-olds. And you're probably kind of pissed that society makes you wait a few years. Like, that's the class of individual you are. I don't get that. I don't get fat guys over no fat chicks policy. That never made sense to me at all. Like, I get if you're a skinny guy not wanting to date a heavy girl. I understand that. But if you're a fat guy, who the fuck are you? Like, what gives you the right? You want to date a skinny girl, lose some fucking weight. How about that? Dating's like boxing. You fuck your weight class. You want to fuck a featherweight, you have to starve yourself. I don't know. I'll leave with this. I live in LA now. I grew up in New York, and I went to college in Chicago, so I've lived in the 3 major cities, and I think I just got a grasp on LA. I think if New York is the city that never sleeps, and Chicago's the city of broad shoulders, LA is the city where you don't eat gluten to justify your cocaine habit. That's what I've seen living in LA. It's fucking great, you guys. No. I did get robbed in LA, though. That did happen. That was a few months ago. Relax, it's fine. I wasn't hurt. It's not a big deal. It didn't feel like a robbery, really. It felt like a simple business negotiation in a weird way. Like, these 2 gentlemen, I'll call them, came up to me on the street and were like, hi there, sir. Would you like to see my knife? And I was like, oh, that's really interesting. Would you like an iPhone? And they were like, yes, we would. And then we went on our way. That's an entirely reasonable exchange. But that's nothing, though, because I once got robbed at gunpoint, so that didn't faze me. That happened when I was in Chicago, when I went to college. It's a 100% true story. What happened was, I was getting some deep dish Chicago-style pizza carry-out, and I was walking home, and a guy came up behind me, put a barrel of a gun to the back of my head, said, give me all your money, right now, give me all your money. And I dropped the pizza, and I hand this guy everything I've got on me, wallet, cell phone, keys. I'm not fucking running, he's got a gun in my head. He takes it all. Still with the gun in my head, he says, I'm going to give you the count of 3 to start running. 1. Which is fucked up. Your silence is correct. It's terrifying. It was horrifying mentally. It was the most terrified I've been in my entire life. But here's why I'm telling you this at a comedy show, guys. Somewhere between this guy saying, I'm going to give you the count of 3 to start running, 1, and me running for my life, I managed to pick up the pizza and take it with me. Yeah. It's the greatest thing I've ever done in my entire life, by far. Best part of it is I have no memory of doing this whatsoever. That's just my fight or flight response in that situation. Apparently. Wallet, cell phone, not worth it. Eduardo's deep dish pizza from Chicago, worth dying for. Apparently, that's not. I'm not getting paid to say that, but if anyone knows the marketing team at Eduardo's in Chicago, all right. Thank you guys very much. My name is Stanislawski.